Have you ever reached the end of the day completely exhausted and thought to yourself, how did I work all day and still feel behind? I was talking to a business owner recently and she said something that I hear all the time. Yvonne, I'm always busy. Why does it feel like nothing is changing? And at the end of the day, I feel like nothing was done. Do you feel like this sometimes? I told her something that completely shifted how she saw her business. And I'll say this to clients as well. I said, you're not overwhelmed because you have too much to do. You're overwhelmed because too many things are competing for your attention. You haven't set clear priorities. In other words, you haven't set clear boundaries for yourself and your business. What's important and what can be left for later, because everything's important, right? And so that means that there's not clear boundaries. And it's important to start stepping back and thinking more strategically about all the things. Otherwise, you'll stay in chaos. Because chaos inherently means lack of clear boundaries, lack of priorities. Everything's important, and you have this much capacity, okay? It's almost like a pipe. I want you to imagine a pipe for a moment, a pipe of water, okay? And you have all of this water going, right? And you just have a funnel to get the water through. What happens, right? If everything's important, then nothing gets done. Nothing gets through that pipe. No one gets water. Okay? And so what we want to do is start funneling things through a pipeline so that others can benefit and we can benefit, so that the resources can be used and leveraged efficiently. Okay? Otherwise, nothing gets done. Right? So priorities and boundaries. That's what our conversation was about. And if nobody has ever shown you how to lead your business, instead of reacting to it, guess what? Daily chaos quietly becomes your operating system. Daily chaos becomes, well, that's just another workday. And then, unfortunately, most business owners begin accepting this as their normal, as if, oh, it's normal to be a business owner and to be in chaos every day, fighting fires, right? And in constant overwhelm. Not my clients. And if you're watching this video, not you, not anymore. Today, I want to show you the business productivity shift that changes everything. Not so you can do more, but so that you can finally create clarity, momentum, and consistent growth for your business, which you so deserve. Hi, my name is Yvonne Bramble, a business and revenue advisor and founder of Apex Business Advisory, a coaching and consulting business. And I help entrepreneurs grow their business by mastering their strategy, structure, and systems so they can lead their business with confidence, clarity, and consistent revenue. Let's get into it. So the first point I want to talk to you about is the productivity lie that entrepreneurs get stuck in. And see, most business owners, they think productivity means working harder, waking up earlier, or buying another planner. But productivity is not output. Productivity is alignment. So if your day is full of low-value activities, being productive simply means becoming more efficient at staying stuck. It's like being in a hamster wheel, right? Things are moving, but you're not going anywhere, okay? I'm here to get you unstuck out of that hamster wheel. Okay? Out of the rat race. Now, I know that sounds uncomfortable to hear, really, to be vulnerable and honest with ourselves with what's happening in our business and how we are actually stuck. Okay? But think about this. You can spend 6 hours answering emails, adjusting your website, and crossing things off your list and generate zero business growth. Meanwhile, someone else spends 90 focused minutes following up with potential clients, making offers, making strategic decisions, and their business moves forward. That's the difference between working on operations, administrative things, the back end work, and actually working on the front end marketing and sales, things that generate new business. Okay? Same hours, different outcomes because they had different priorities and they had different boundaries. They had different time blocks. Okay? And so one person is staying busy, but the other one's creating momentum. You see the difference here? See, most entrepreneurs, they're not lacking effort. They're lacking strategic direction. So that leads me to the next point. The day that changed everything for my clients, just a client story I want to share with you. See, one business owner I worked with came to me feeling defeated. She said, you know what, I'm doing everything people say to do and I still feel behind. She had all the bells and whistles, color-coded calendars, sticky notes, morning routines, and she constantly felt anxious. So I asked her this. What are 3 things that you did this week that directly created business growth? Okay, that directly impacted the bottom line. She had become so busy managing tasks, doing operations and administrative stuff that she stopped leading the business strategically. So what we did is we simplified. Instead of 20 priorities, all of which were important, right? We identified 3 client generation tasks, focusing on the sales and the marketing aspects for her business. And that might look different for you. I just want to clarify that. And that might look different for you. In your case, it might be the inverse. It might be that you're doing great with sales and marketing. You're doing good with getting, clients, but the back end, your operations, your systems, your admin stuff can use some streamline, right? You might want to streamline your workflows, etc., right? But for this client, we identified 3 things, right? Client generation or lead generation, revenue activities, and strategic business improvements. And that became her filter. Not after emails, not after distractions, but she got those first 3 things done. Once those 3 things were done, sure, we'll go and we'll take care of the emails and all of the other things that come along the way, right? But we clearly defined the time blocks and what those will be used for before the distractions pop up during the day, you see? So within weeks, something shifted, something changed completely. She stopped feeling overwhelmed. Why? She became calmer, more confident, and more decisive because she was clear, she had clarity. Not because she worked more, but because she finally knew what mattered. See, that's the shift. Chaos, my friends. Chaos disappears when decisions become clear. Chaos disappears when the clutter goes away. Have you ever walked into a cluttered home? Maybe a cluttered home office or cluttered kitchen, right? Or maybe even a cluttered garage, right? Or a cluttered closet. You know where I'm going with this, right? It feels like chaos. And it takes twice as much time to get things done, right? However, when the clutter, when you stop, okay, and you take time to clear the clutter, what does that mean? At first, it might seem like you're taking 2 steps backwards because things have to stop. And also, when you're clearing the clutter, what happens? A lot of times, you have to take things out of the drawers, take things out of the closets, shift things around. So at first it may look even worse, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is even worse. But what happens is the dust settles. How does the dust settle? You start clearing things out. You identify what's garbage, what you need to get rid of, what you keep, and maybe you purchase organizers, right? So you need to get out and purchase organizers, right? And get things organized a certain way. My goodness, after that storm happens, right? In terms of taking things out, clearing, looking at the mess, reorganizing, throwing things out, putting things away, deciding. After that, what happens? My goodness, you get so clear. Everything's fresh, clear. The air just feels, brighter and lighter. And then the efficiency comes in, right? Energetically, there's like an opening. And so that's what that's an example for your business. That's the shift. See, at first it's uncomfortable. You don't want to look at the mess. You don't want to take things out and really be honest and vulnerable and transparent with yourself and your team and say, hey, things gotta have to shift. Some things we need to throw in the garbage. Some processes and some things that we're doing, they're not working, right? Maybe some staff, some people we have to be let go because they're not being efficient. They might be very negative, pulling the rest of the team down, all the things. But guess what? That's the transformation. That's the shift. And chaos disappears when decisions become clear. Chaos disappears when decisions become clear. Okay? And so part of the cleanup is cleaning up the priorities, setting time blocks, setting boundaries. See, that leads me to the productivity shift from operator to leader. That's where most business owners accidentally stay stuck. They stay stuck in operator mode. Operators ask, what do I need to finish today? Leaders ask, what creates the biggest result today? Operators react. Leaders prioritize. So if you feel like your days just disappear, I want you to try asking yourself this question today or tomorrow morning. If I only accomplished one thing today, what would make the biggest impact? Not what's urgent, not what's easy, not what's comfortable, but what's important. See, for some of you, that answer might be following up with a potential client. For others, it's improving your sales processes. Maybe for others, creating a better offer or building systems or learning to delegate and start delegating. Maybe for others, it's hiring a new team member. And others, it may very well be something simple and so impactful, like finally making a decision that you've been avoiding. See, business growth usually doesn't happen because of doing more. It happens because of removing what no longer matters and focusing on what does. See, I want to now lead you to another topic I wanted to touch on this video is what high growth entrepreneurs do differently. Okay, what high growth entrepreneurs do different. It's almost like their secret sauce, right? Because two people can be in the same industry, experiencing the same economic hardships of the environment, and yet those two people can get completely different experiences of their reality. So what's that secret sauce? Well, entrepreneurs creating consistent growth do something differently. They do. They stop managing time and start managing their focus. Their calendars reflect their priorities. Their systems reduce decision fatigue. Their business becomes more predictable. Why? Because they put systems in place to stop recreating the daily chaos. This is one of the identity shifts we work on inside the Strategic Leadership and Business Growth Program. Now, I was thinking about this video yesterday as I was driving around with the kids. We went to, what did we do yesterday? We went to a water park because it's summer vacation. So they're home for vacation. So every day we do something different. And so I noticed that there was accumulation of clutter happening in the car between the towels from their swim class or extra clothes from the water park and all of these things, shoes. It almost looked like my car was turning into their little closet and their toy room at the same time. Okay, and a coffee shop because I had a few extra cups of coffee in the front. And so I said, I need to get a better system. I said, otherwise this is going to be overwhelming. So I identified, I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to get laser focused every day. Before we get in this car, I'm going to bring like an extra bag, like a grocery bag, those plastic bags that you get in groceries. I reuse them for garbage. So I'm going to come in every morning, I'm going to come into the car with a plastic bag on hand so I can just kind of put all of the knickknacks and stuff in the bag. And then as we leave, I'm going to have an extra bag so that we take the things, the toys, the shoes, and everything with us. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to implement this system to stop all the chaos and clutter that's starting to manifest in my car. And also, I'm going to get laser focused now that we're using the car a lot more with the kids and stuff, and drinks and food and everything. And hey, when you have little kids, you know what I'm talking about. When you know, you know. I'm going to be more consistent on every single week, because it used to be every other week, but every single week we're going to go to the car wash.
Could you give me something to drink?
Yes, baby. I'll be right there. Okay. So, all right. So where was I? So this, this is one of the things, this is one of the identity shifts that we work on inside the Strategic Leadership and Business Growth Program. Because strategy without implementation doesn't create results, and motivation without structure disappears. Now, inside the program, we empower business owners to create clear priorities, implement strategic growth plans, and build stronger business systems to support growth. Because you know what? Success should not require constant overwhelm. You should feel clear, you should feel confident, you should feel supported, and you should know exactly what matters. And that leads me to the next topic I want to talk through before I go get my son something to drink. The real transformation. And the real transformation is not I got more done, okay? We're not in the business of getting more done. We're in the business of streamlining with ease, with grace, with flow. The transformation becomes, I finally know what matters. I know what my priorities are, right? You stop waking up wondering what to focus on. You stop carrying mental clutter, okay, that bogs you down. You stop feeling guilty for resting, for taking a vacation. This weekend, my kids turned 5. And we're just going to go all weekend. We're going to go on vacation to North Florida, okay, to Orlando. And we're going to have a great time. And I'm not taking any of my work with me. Not at all. I'm not even planning on taking Instagram reels or taking a video of myself talking for Instagram or Facebook. Nope. This is us. This is private time with me and my family. We're just going to enjoy each other. And then when I get back on Monday, we'll get back to it. Okay? That's what I want for you. I want you to stop feeling guilty for resting. You stop ending every day feeling defeated, feeling depleted. Instead, you become someone who leads, someone who creates momentum, someone who trusts in themselves. And when you keep promises to yourself and you keep seeing the results of what you said is your goal for your business in terms of revenue, in terms of impact, your trust in yourself begins to grow. It's like you're making deposits in your trust bank. And as your trust in yourself grows, your confidence grows. Okay? People can pick up on that. That identity shift changes everything. It does. So I want to leave you with one question before I leave. What's one thing in your business right now that creates daily chaos? Put it in the comments below. And if today's video felt familiar, if you're tired of feeling busy but not growing as consistently as you would like, if you're tired of carrying everything in your head and ending each day exhausted while wondering why revenue still feels inconsistent, you don't need another productivity hack or a productivity trick. You need structure. You need strategy. You need a business that creates more clarity, confidence, and predictable growth. And that's exactly why I created the Strategic Leadership and Business Growth Program. Because inside the program, we help business owners identify priorities, improve decision making, and create sustainable growth so they stop reacting to their business and start leading it. And the goal is not to become someone who works harder. No, you're going to be working with more ease, with more grace, with more flow, and you're actually going to be working less. You don't need to work harder. You're going to be more strategic. See, the goal is to become someone who wakes up knowing exactly what matters, that feels confident making decisions, and finally feels in control of where the business is going. Imagine ending your workday feeling calm, accomplished, and knowing your business actually moved forward. That's the transformation. So if you're ready for that next level of leadership, click the link below and learn more about the Strategic Leadership and Business Growth Program. Now, the next episode of the Business Productivity series is how successful entrepreneurs manage their time to increase their productivity. And I'm going to show you the mindset shifts and the practical habits that separate entrepreneurs who constantly feel overwhelmed from those that actually create growth without working longer hours. I'm going to see you in the next video. Oceans of love and light, and in service to others. Until next time.